Erika Kirk, man, she really is just the moment. The speech that she gave, everybody was just wowed by her. I felt my energy personally, like last night going into that, I was effectively like sore.
For their love and support, you guys honored my husband so well bringing him home. You both are tremendous. I want to thank President Trump and his incredible family for the same. Mr. President, my husband loved you. Listening tonight across America, the movement my husband built will not die. That young man. On the cross, our Savior said, "Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do." That man, that young man, I forgive him.
It was both heart-wrenching and explosive. Just weeks after the Charlie Kirk controversy, Candace Owens stunned the nation by revealing she had uncovered a private letter from Erika Kirk, one she claimed could completely rewrite what the public thought. As whispers of betrayal and a baffling media blackout spread, a burning question emerged. What secrets does this letter truly hold? Who penned it? When did it appear? And why does it shatter everything we thought we knew about this story? In today's video, we unravel the enigmatic letter that has everyone talking to determine if it's a confession, a desperate cry, or a calculated move. Stormy, it was a frigid night in Provo, Utah. Charlie Kirk, the founder of Turning Point USA, faced a sea of students at Utah Valley University, cameras flashing, supporters watching, unaware of the storm about to hit. As he had done countless times before. But this time, the unexpected struck. In a heartbeat, a shocking incident plunged the auditorium into chaos. Security surged forward. Attendees scattered in panic, and the air turned unbearably tense. As the news rippled out, shock gripped the nation. By nightfall, the story had splintered into countless fragments, rumors, grief, and utter confusion. Charlie Kirk, once a symbol of outspokenness and staunch conservative loyalty, had died suddenly, leaving a gaping void in the right-wing sphere. Less than 24 hours later, Candace Owens, one of his closest confidants, broke her silence. In a solemn broadcast, she revealed that Charlie had reached out to her just a day before the tragedy, sensing that something was deeply off. He said something felt wrong, Owens confessed, her voice heavy with dread. The statement ignited immediate controversy. News outlets pounced, and within hours, a fresh rift tore through an already fractured movement. Some demanded transparency and answers, while others accused Candace of stoking the fires of suspicion. The unity that had long underpinned Turning Point began to unravel under the crushing weight of doubt, secrecy, and the unnerving possibility that the truth was far darker than anyone imagined.
Charlie's neck indeed did stop the bullet, without question, okay? And this is going to dispel a lot of theories that are out there, and I'm telling you this 100%. Charlie Kirk was shot from...
Authorities say they are scrutinizing digital messages allegedly sent from Charlie's phone just before the incident, but have refused to disclose further details. Behind closed doors, investigators are struggling to separate hard facts from swirling emotions amid the flood of posts, messages, and videos that have exploded across social media. Many legal analysts now argue that Candace Owens' revelation has completely shifted the trajectory of the investigation and reshaped public perception. What started as a deeply personal tragedy has morphed into a relentless search for the truth, about hidden motives, looming threats, and possible internal betrayals. The movement Kirk built, once considered a fortified ideological bastion, now shows cracks barely hidden from view.
Authorities say they are scrutinizing digital messages allegedly sent from Charlie's phone just before the incident, but have refused to disclose further details. Behind closed doors, investigators are struggling to separate hard facts from swirling emotions amid the flood of posts, messages, and videos that have exploded across social media. Many legal analysts now argue that Candace Owens' revelation has completely shifted the trajectory of the investigation and reshaped public perception. What started as a deeply personal tragedy has morphed into a relentless search for the truth about hidden motives, looming threats, and possible internal betrayals. The movement Kirk built, once considered a fortified ideological bastion, now shows cracks barely hidden from view. Within conservative circles, silence is giving way to uneasy certainty. Allies are steering clear of interviews. Key figures issue cautious, measured statements. Yet beneath the surface, tensions continue to boil. The question is no longer simply what happened, but who truly wanted Charlie Kirk removed? And why did he feel compelled to send that final, ominous warning to Candace Owens? In hindsight, experts describe that chilling moment as the beginning of a slow-burning unraveling. The Charlie Kirk incident was far from the conclusion. It ignited a long, twisting investigation that would expose shifting loyalties, bitter rivalries, and concealed secrets within the American political sphere, and the shockwaves were only starting. The dream revelation. 3 days after her initial statement, Candace Owens returned to her podcast, not with fresh evidence, but with a spiritual account she claimed was a message from beyond. Her voice was quieter, deliberate, and measured. She recounted a vivid dream in which Charlie Kirk appeared, composed yet stern, uttering only one chilling sentence: "I've been betrayed." The audience was left stunned. The clip rapidly went viral, amassing millions of views within hours. For Owens' supporters, it was more than a dream. It was a signal, a message laden with profound significance. But for others, the story blurred the line between private grief and public scrutiny, leaving the public questioning what was real and what was perception. What had started as a cry of mourning transformed into a movement fueled by faith, mystery, and an insatiable drive for answers no one else could provide. Last weekend, Candace Owens shared yet another vivid, haunting dream.
Similarly, had a vivid dream this weekend, and Charlie came to me and he told me that he was betrayed.
Is this idea of these dreams and someone from the dead specifically speaking to you, is that biblical? The origins of the idea of this concept of the eternal soul, it actually comes from pagan beliefs and pagan systems, right? You had the Protestants coming in, but they still kept a lot of the concepts that were originally pagan. If you ask people then like, well, what does the Bible say happens then when you die? Well, the Bible actually talks about that you are essentially, some people might never have heard of this before, and they may be like, what are you talking about? The Bible's clear that.
I want you guys to know something. I want to share this with you. You can take it or you can leave it, but Charlie was betrayed. I know this. I've known this really since the first second, but I rarely have vivid dreams. And I did, in fact, have a very vivid one over the weekend. In fact, the last time that I had a super vivid dream, I was pregnant. It tends to happen a lot to women when they're pregnant. But in that dream from 2023, my former producer of the show and I were standing in the control room, and she told me that she was 26 weeks pregnant. This is in the dream. And she told me.
Candace said the experience convinced her that dreams about Charlie might be a form of spirit communication, a bridge between the living and the dead. Immediately, the revelations split public opinion. Supporters hailed her honesty and courage in sharing such intimate experiences. Critics, however, accused her of leveraging emotion in an already delicate situation. Analysts note that the shift from hard evidence to spiritual revelation marks a pivotal moment, catapulting the story from politics into the uneasy crossroads of faith, grief, and truth. Federal investigators continue to examine Charlie Kirk's communications and travelogues, but have refused to comment on Candace Owens' dreams or psychic claims. Behind the scenes, sources say frustration is mounting within law enforcement, worried that public perception is being shaped more by emotion than facts. Observers argue that the moment deepened existing fractures within the conservative movement. Some believe Owens acted out of personal conviction, while others fear her approach may distort the investigation. The silence of Kirk's closest allies, once seen as respect, now appears as calculated restraint or image preservation. Symbolically, Owens' dream became more than a personal tale. it emerged as a metaphor for the collision of faith and reality, where grief and doubt feed public suspicion. Her vision of betrayal reignited questions about loyalty, internal maneuvering, and what Charlie may have known in his final hours. One legal analyst remarked, "When pain turns into revelation, the truth becomes impossible to pin down." From that moment on, the investigation became less about provable facts and more about belief, stirring a wave of suspicion over a potential cover-up at higher levels. In the following days, Candace shifted from mourning to action, publicly questioning the role of federal agencies in handling Kirk's case. Through posts on X, Instagram videos, and her own broadcasts, she was relentless, accusing authorities of concealing part of the truth. Her tone was sharp, fearless, and magnetic, keeping the public fixated on the brewing political storm. "There is no other explanation. This is a deliberate cover-up," she claimed. Social media erupted. Supporters circulated videos, timelines, and screenshots that seemingly corroborated the theory of government interference. Hashtags linking Charlie Kirk's name with FBI cover-up trends surged within hours. Yet opponents denounced her claims as baseless, warning that such accusations could erode already fragile public trust in national institutions. According to reports, Candace highlighted inconsistencies in federal responses, the speed of the FBI's involvement, the absence of published findings, and the silence surrounding Kirk's alleged warning messages. She wrote, "They know something, and they just hope the public will forget." Owens suggested that insiders with intimate knowledge of the area and event had access to critical details, fueling further speculation.
So familiar that he knew exactly how to scale across the rooftops to duck down in order to take an almost impossible shot at a Charlie Kirk who was sitting beneath a tent. I'm told that it's because the feds told them that if they spoke out, their lives could be at risk. You start going, I don't really trust these feds. Like, I'm a little...
The federal government has yet to directly respond to Owens's claims. The FBI has merely confirmed that the investigation remains open, but their measured calm and deliberate silence only seem to fan the flames of public suspicion. To Owens's growing audience, every gap in the story became proof that critical truths were being withheld. Political analysts note that her statements tapped into a long-standing distrust of government authority. In recent years, a string of high-profile controversies involving federal agencies has left many conservatives skeptical and alienated. Owens's message, whether calculated or instinctive, struck a chord, transforming Charlie Kirk's sudden departure into a symbol of something far larger, a confrontation between the people and the power of the state. Behind the scenes, law enforcement sources reportedly expressed concern over the escalating tension. Some agents involved in the investigation said they had faced waves of online harassment. Simultaneously, misinformation spread like wildfire. Fake reports, doctor documents, and AI-generated leaks flooded social media, making it nearly impossible for investigators to control the narrative or maintain transparency. Experts describe this era as a profound societal rift, where personal belief increasingly challenged institutional authority. Owens's relentless persistence, coupled with the authorities' silence, created a vacuum of speculation. What began as an inquiry into a single incident morphed into a nationwide debate about truth, power, and control over information. The atmosphere grew heavy with uncertainty and division. To her supporters, Candace Owens became a symbol of courage, a figure unafraid to challenge the system. To her critics, she represents the danger of unchecked influence in a time when emotion can overwhelm evidence. Meanwhile, the continuing silence of federal officials, both procedural and perceived, serves as the embodiment of the secrecy Owens is decrying. Legal commentators warn, in an era of instant information, silence is never neutral. A refusal to speak can be interpreted as admission. Whether or not the government is concealing facts, the perception alone is enough to erode public trust. The result is a swelling tide of skepticism sweeping through online communities, blending grief, anger, and a sense of betrayal. Each unanswered question spawns another, constructing an invisible wall between citizens and institutions. And as Candace Owens continues to speak out, that wall grows taller, stronger, and more impenetrable than ever. What began as a call for truth has evolved into a far more complex struggle, a fight over who ultimately gets to define reality.
All right, you guys, happy Monday. Erika Kirk, man, she really is just the moment. The speech that she gave, everybody was just wowed by her. I felt my energy personally, like last night going into that, I was effectively like soaring in the air above the convention center, like a dragon above, waiting for Erika to just be like, fire. And I was just gonna come down and swoop in out of nowhere. All the politicians, all the fake people, everyone was just gonna be in that moment.
All right, everyone. Happy Monday. Erika Kirk. Honestly, she completely owned the moment. The speech she delivered left everyone stunned. I could feel my own energy surge just thinking about it last night. It was like I was soaring above the convention center, a dragon circling high, waiting for Erika to unleash her fire. And when she did, I was ready to swoop in, unstoppable. Every politician, every pretender, every eyes on me moment, it all converged right there, and the room was electrified. Reports suggest that Turning Point USA's internal financial ties have long mirrored a deeper struggle within the American conservative movement, a battle between grassroots populist nationalism and entrenched establishment orthodoxy. Charlie Kirk, once a bridge between these factions, had gradually shifted toward more independent positions in the months leading up to his departure. If Candace Owens' claims are verified, that shift places Kirk at the heart of a larger conflict, not just over money, but over the movement's ideology and future direction. Political observers say this isn't simply a dispute over donors, it's a reflection of modern conservatism itself. Issues like Israel, once a unifying touchstone, have become flashpoints, dividing those who were once aligned. From that rift, questions arise about loyalty, influence, and who controls the public narrative. In a broader sense, the so-called donor split has revealed hidden forces quietly shaping the American political landscape. Though the released messages remain unverified, they resonate with deep-seated fears. Today's conservative establishment is less about ideology and more about who holds the purse strings, and through it, who controls the story. Hampton's encounter. Weeks after the controversy over her sponsor-dominated headlines, Candace Owens dropped a new claim on her podcast, a moment that would shift the narrative yet again. She alleged that Charlie Kirk had confided in her about a tense meeting in the Hamptons. According to Owens, billionaire Bill Ammon had warned Kirk that his recent remarks about Israel were raising concern among certain donors, a clash between financial clout and political independence emblematic of broader ideological friction within the movement. Ammon quickly denied the tension, sharing a WhatsApp message with Kirk stating, "We had a respectful and open conversation." Several attendees corroborated Ammon's version, describing the meeting as cordial and productive. Yet debate raged on. To Owens's followers, the denials seemed rehearsed, evidence that powerful interests were shielding themselves. To critics, Owens's claims were a stark example of how narratives can be manipulated. Experts note that in today's media landscape, truth is no longer measured by documents or evidence, but by who tells the story first and who tells it most compellingly. The Hamptons meeting has become less about fact versus fiction and more about a symbolic battle where truth is negotiated through screenshots, statements, and live broadcasts. Each version is amplified by its own network of followers, none willing to yield. Behind it all, information has become a tool of power, a weapon wielded by influencers and tycoons alike, shaping the new digital battlefield. By the third week of Owens's escalating campaign, the unity surrounding Charlie Kirk's legacy had begun to crumble. Conservative chatter erupted into open confrontation. Far-right commentator Laura Loomer led the backlash, branding Owens's statements as irrational and cruel. Her anger reflected a movement stretched to the edge of reason. Yet Owens stood firm, continuing to release unverified messages, quotes, and claims laced with hints of betrayal and federal secrecy. Her persistence attracted loyal followers while increasingly isolating her from colleagues. To some, Owens became the voice challenging the system, To others, a cautionary symbol of the fine line between belief and obsession. Reports from the Daily Mail revealed growing anxiety within Turning Point USA as leadership sought to avoid confrontation, wary of further unrest. One insider noted that Charlie himself had feared this outcome. Unchecked emotions could tear the movement apart. The bitter irony, he who had once held them together in memory was now the reason they fractured. Division and silence have become defining features. Owens's relentless pursuit has exposed long-simmering rifts, from debates over Israel to media strategy to moral authority. Formerly united voices now split into two camps, those defending Owens's right to question, and those warning of the chaos and skepticism her actions might unleash. Amid it all, Erika Kirk remains silent. Analysts note that her silence has evolved into a language of its own, interpreted, debated, and imbued with political meaning. The focus has shifted. The debate is no longer merely about Charlie Kirk's death, but what it signifies, a faith-driven movement racked by ego and power.